Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, I'm going to be updating you guys on today's tornado outbreak. Yes, I'm calling it a tornado outbreak now because it is looking like one. So before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Also, I would like to mention that at some point during this event, we are going to be going live and giving you guys live radar coverage where I'm talking about it and interacting with you guys. That's going to be sometime between 12 and 3 p.m. I'm going to start going live, and I'm going to try to track these storms with you guys and keep everybody safe. We're going to track these tornadoes and these supercells together. For today's comment of the day, since we're on the subject, I want to know, have you ever experienced firsthand a tornado? Let me know how that experience went, and I'll be picking a comment for tomorrow's video. Alright, let's get right into things. So, we're looking at our categorical outlook, and it still looks very, very similar. We have that moderate risk for Illinois, specifically northern Illinois. I'm starting to become more concerned about Iowa, though, and I'm going to talk about that throughout this video as well, but it's mostly in Iowa and Illinois severe weather event. Also, Missouri is looking to get a little bit more involved, as well as Indiana. So we're going to talk about all of that. I have a lot of frames for you guys today, so I don't know if this video will go long or if I can get it all out. We'll see. Now here's your wind risk. Nothing too crazy. We have 5% there in the brown, 15% in the yellow. The wind risk is looking quite slight at best. The wind risk is looking pretty normal here. It's as we get to hail, we start to see the more concerning look. We have 5% in the brown, 15% in the yellow, and then 30% there in the red within 25 miles of a given location. Also, notice the hatched area goes into Iowa. They're starting to eyeball the possibility for more severe weather in Iowa, just as I am. But the hatched area means significant, large hail is possible within that hatched area. They're looking for considerable size hail. So very, very interesting stuff. Let's look at that tornado outlook though. We have 2% in the green, 5% in the brown, 10% in the yellow, and 15% in the red. 15% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location. The black hatched area on this one also goes into Iowa. Notice that also goes into Illinois, portions of Missouri, and Indiana as well. That means they're looking for at least 10% chance of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. So we're expecting very, very large tornadoes to be possible today. A very serious situation. If you live in these regions, please take it very, very seriously. Now we're about to move on and start looking at the modeled forecast as far as shear, instability, and also your simulated radar, so we can tell you guys what time to expect what kind of weather. Alright, so we're looking at our shear. This is right now, so this is actually early in the morning I'm making this. I'm making this at about 10 right now, a.m. So we can see that in the more, I don't know what they call that, I guess pinkish colors and then reds. It's white pink, then kind of the reddish color. You can see it for Missouri, Iowa, northern Illinois. That's where we have very high shear, very, very good for tornado development. But as we head to southern Illinois, it's more brown to more of the red than green. That's where we have lesser amounts of shear. So that's why there's pretty much a minimal tornado risk for a lot of areas in southern Missouri, eastern Arkansas, and then southern Illinois, southern Indiana. It's more for northern portions of a lot of those states there. This is as we head towards about midday. I would say this is maybe at approximately 6 p.m. and we can see that there is actually some of that more heavier shear heading into Arkansas, more of Missouri, northern Iowa, and eastern Iowa, and then we see northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, areas like that getting a lot of that shear. Very, very high shear. Concerning look, to say the least. And then here's more towards the end of the day. This is at about 10 p.m. You can see that we're seeing less of those reds, and it's pretty much fizzled out for the most part by this point. There is a bit for Indiana with some of those thunderstorms that are arriving for that region. Now, we're about to move on, and we're going to take a look at that cape so I can tell you guys a little bit about how the instability is going to work with this one. What is going to be the driving force for these storms to develop? We're going to talk a little bit about that as we head on. Alright, so here's to begin the day, again, around 10 a.m. We have minimal shear here. We have blues and greens, generally indicating a little bit of shear to maybe about 1,000. That's enough to develop some thunderstorms, but that's not going to be enough to get us our extreme supercells that we're expecting to be possible later on. So let's move, and this is going to be about 2 p.m., and you can see the difference. We have yellows, reds. That's going to be 2,000 to 3,000 cape for portions in eastern Missouri, central Illinois, central Indiana, and then a lot of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. We are going to have some severe storms for Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Tennessee, so be on the lookout for those areas, as we could still be seeing some severe thunderstorms there, just not our super tornadic supercells that we're going to have up to the north. St. Louis having a lot of CAPE by this point. Let's look at those the simulated radar by this point, and I wanted to talk about one thing. We have showers kind of in the area for Missouri and northern Illinois, maybe some thunderstorms, but that's not our severe thunderstorms, and that's the only thing that I could see holding back the potential for a huge tornado outbreak, is that we have some showers and thunderstorms developing too early on that are really eating up the energy that's available for the storms that come in later on once the favorable conditions move in. And that would be good news if we see these earlier thunderstorms really take over the area. That would limit the ability a little bit for tornadoes. I think either way, we do have a lot of potential for tornadoes. Unfortunately, there's just such good parameters around that I think that we're going to be dealing with it either way here. Now we're about to move on, and we're going to take a look at maybe about 5 p.m. We're going to look at that CAPE for 5 p.m. and then the simulated radar once again here in just a second. All right, so here's that CAPE, and you can see 3,000 plus amounts in those reds there for central Illinois. Notice they're making their way north. We have a warm front heading northward. You're going to notice it if you're in Illinois or Indiana, especially the central and northern regions. It's going to really warm up throughout the day as that warm front heads through, and after the warm front heads through is when those supercells will come through afterwards to eat up all that warm, humid air. It's going to be a mess. So you can see we have 3,000 CAPE in a lot of regions there for central Illinois, and the 1,000 plus amounts are heading rapidly northward into portions of northern Illinois, as well as eastern Iowa there. So it's going to be a very sufficient day for severe weather. I'm very curious to see how this one plays out. Here's that simulated radar, and you can see we have supercells around for central Illinois, still a little bit earlier on here. We see eastern Missouri possibly seeing some of that, but still the showers are in the area for northern Illinois, and that's really going to potentially hold back some of that potential severe weather. Let's head on a couple hours though, and you can see those supercells really start to develop. But again, northern Illinois seeing the least of it. Just to the west of Chicago, we're seeing some maybe showers, and that's really going to help just kind of make the conditions more stable and less energy available for those supercell tornadoes. So I think maybe northern and eastern Iowa, and then maybe central Illinois having the best chance for tornadoes at this point. Northern Illinois having a little bit less than those two regions that I just mentioned there. Let's head on towards about 8 p.m. and we can see the supercells finally develop there for northern Illinois, but I'm curious to see how much energy will be left over for these storms. But you can see there's just potent looking severe weather for a lot of these regions. We do have supercells heading in for Indiana as well by this point, so it's a mess to say the least. And then by the time we're at about maybe 11 p.m., you can see the severe weather potential has pretty much died out. A lot of these storms don't look as severe by this point, and the energy is pretty much gone by that point. Now we're about to zoom into Iowa and then zoom into Illinois, and I'm just going to take it hour by hour in a more zoomed in look so that we have a better idea of what to expect in each of these states. Now, you might be wondering why I picked Iowa and Illinois, and that's just because they have the most risk. I can't do every single state, obviously. That would take like 30 minutes probably to make a video for every single state, so I decided to just give you guys the two moderate risk states here and just give you an outlook of what to expect. So here's at about, I would say this is about 5 p.m. here today, obviously, and we see some thunderstorms and showers developing there for central Illinois. It's as we move on an hour, so by 6 p.m. you can see these storms have really intensified, and that's the beginning of supercells. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's just plenty of supercells that are going to be around here for eastern eastern Iowa and kind of northeastern Iowa especially here. And then as we move on towards 7 p.m., you can see a lot of those purple showing up. Again, these are just going to be supercells with the potential for tornadoes, but high potential for damaging hail. Be on the lookout for that as well. And here's a tool we call our significant tornado parameter. Take this one with a grain of salt because it can be misleading sometimes. But in the pink colors, that's where we have the maxed out value, 9 to 10, but we see 11s, 12s in there. That's where there's the maximum value for significant tornado parameter. I shouldn't have to explain that. You probably have an idea of what that means. Significant tornadoes are possible, and the model thinks that significant tornadoes are likely within those pink areas. So eastern Iowa, we're going to want to be on the lookout. Let's move into Illinois. This is going to be by 5 p.m. You can see those showers for northern Illinois. Again, might be holding back some of that potential, but central Illinois, we do have some pretty potent looking thunderstorms by that point. And then by the time we're at about 7 p.m., you can see that we do have maybe some supercells, but they're more multicellular, so they're kind of messy, and that could really hold back the potential for tornadoes within the central Illinois region there. It's these ones that are developing behind it for western Illinois at this point. Let's move towards about 8 p.m. and you can see the supercells finally develop there for eastern Illinois, western Illinois there, and it's going to be pretty potent by that point. Here's the significant tornado parameter for you guys there. We can see some pinks showing up, but not as much as Iowa, so I'm thinking Iowa might have the best chance for tornadoes over Illinois. Nevertheless, just pay attention to it, be on the lookout for, any tornado warnings, because there's tornadoes possible for many regions today. It's just that I think Iowa has the highest chance of anybody, eastern Iowa, I would say, and to maybe extreme western Illinois. Now let's get into your comment of the day. I asked you guys, what is your favorite type of music? Joseph Santil, sorry if I said your name wrong, said rock and metal, AC/DC, Metallica, Nirvana, etc. I absolutely love those bands. I actually like classic country as well. So it was hard to pick between the two, but I absolutely love Nirvana and Metallica and stuff. So yeah, great music. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be safe today. Share it with your friends and family, and I will see you guys in the next video.